camera started.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name. You wanna go where people know people are all the same. You wanna go where everybody knows your name.
Robeson Jewish Home began in 1920 as the Old Jewish People's Home. In the 50s, we came to the Boundary Street property, and from there we expanded over the next 100 years from the infirmary or intermediate nursing care to providing care at all levels for all people, including affordable housing, assisted living, independent living, post-acute short-term nursing care, long-term intermediate care, adult day services, and in-home care. We have come an amazing distance in 102 years.
I had a huge family here, and we were all here in Portland. My grandma was at the Old People's Home, as the first one was called. There's a picture on the wall of one of my aunts that worked for the old people's home before it was even the Robeson home. So it's always been a part of our life.
A year before my mom came to Cedar Sinai, I visited this center with my son and my daughter-in-law. We could not have been more pleased to see such a degree of care, Jewish environment, a commitment to tradition.
Everybody works together to take care of each and every one of the families. What they contribute, they share. And I've always been a very sharing person, and that's the kind of concept that I want in my life.
Dress up here on a day like this. No need.
The quality of care, the attentiveness that I have seen, and the commitment, dedication among staff, nurses, caretakers is just beyond norm. The institution is going to provide equally as good as family members would provide.
It's about quality of life and the right care for our residents, not how we want to provide it, but how they prefer for their care and service to be provided.
That's Ted, and this is AJ.
We encourage residents to have relationships with one another, to get to know each other. We encourage the staff to get to know our residents as people first.
Where you been?
Hi, beautiful.
The real work of the staff is to help support each individual live their best life.
Oh, I love to play bingo. We have a gentleman here, AJ. We're partners. And I point out, you know, I say, B12. I love it. I love to help him. It just makes me feel so good. 95, and he's still playing bingo. Oh, we got a bingo.
Everybody that's in this environment is my brother or my sister, and I love them. Hi, AJ.
Because of each and every one of you, our residents have a private space to live in. Because of each and every one of you, our residents get to participate in art and literature. They get to go to the opera. They get to go to the theater. They get to travel around Portland and see and hear and feel things that other organizations' residents don't necessarily get to experience. And we couldn't do it without every single one of our volunteers.
This is an institution that, in my judgment, should be labeled as anchor of stability within Jewish community, and should be cherished, should be supported, and it should be ensured that this institution will grow and would have capacity and capability to serve more residents in the long run.
Everything has a time and a place in life. And when it's time to come somewhere, come to the Roschnitz or Cedar Sinai. They're wonderful places.
Cedar Sinai is my home, and I love it here. Let's stay there.
People should not live in institutions, they should live at home. And so when our residents say, this is my home, and everybody that lives in my home is my family, my mishpucha, my brother, my sister, that is the soul of Cedar Sinai Park. Robeson Jewish Home began in 1920 as the old Jewish people's home. In the 50s, we came to the Boundary Street property, and from there we expanded over the next 100 years from the infirmary or intermediate nursing care to providing care at all levels for all people, including affordable housing, assisted living, independent living, post-acute short-term nursing care, long-term intermediate care, adult day services, and in-home care. We have come an amazing distance in 102 years.
I had a huge family here, and we were all here in Portland. My grandma was at the old people's home, as the first one was called. There's a picture on the wall of one of my aunts that worked for the old people's home before it was even the Robeson home. So it's always been a part of our life.
A year before my mom came to Cedar Sinai, I visited this center with my son and my daughter-in-law. We could not have been more pleased to see such a degree of care, Jewish environment, a commitment to tradition.
Everybody works together to take care of each and every one of the families. What they contribute, they share. And I've always been a very sharing person, and that's the kind of concept that I want in my life.
Dress up here on a day like this. No need.
The quality of care, the attentiveness that I have seen, and the commitment, dedication among staff, nurses, caretakers is just beyond norm. The institution is going to provide equally as good as family members would provide.
It's about quality of life and the right care for our residents, not how we want to provide it, but how they prefer for their care and service to be provided.
That's Ted, and this is AJ.
We encourage residents to have relationships with one another, to get to know each other. We encourage the staff to get to know our residents as people first.
Where you been?
Hi, beautiful.
The real work of the staff is to help support each individual live their best life.
Oh, I love to play bingo. We have a gentleman here, AJ. We're partners. And I point out, they say B12. I love it. I love to help him. It just makes me feel so good. 95, and he's still playing bingo. Oh, we got a bingo.
Everybody that's in this environment is my brother or my sister, and I love them. Hi, AJ.
Because of each and every one of you, our residents have a private space to live in. Because of each and every one of you, our residents get to participate in art and literature. They get to go to the opera. They get to go to the theater. They get to travel around Portland and see and hear and feel things that other organizations' residents don't necessarily get to experience. And we couldn't do it without every single one of our volunteers.
This is an institution that, in my judgment, should be labeled as anchor of stability within Jewish community, and should be cherished, should be supported, and it should be ensured that this institution will grow and would have capacity and capability to serve more residents in the long run.
Everything has a time and a place in life. And when it's time to come somewhere, come to the Roschnitz or Cedar Sinai. They're wonderful places.
Cedar Sinai is my home, and I love it here. Let's take it!
People should not live in institutions, they should live at home. And so when our residents say, this is my home, and everybody that lives in my home is my family, my mishpucha, my brother, my sister, that is the soul of Cedar Sinai Park. Well, good evening, everyone. And I want to thank you all in advance for muting. You did a beautiful job of muting your Zoom. Good evening and welcome to Cedar Sinai Park's 102nd annual meeting of the members. We're so pleased you've joined us tonight to share this time and reflect on Robeson Jewish Home's foundational mitzvah to care for our mothers and fathers spiritually, socially, emotionally, and physically. I hope you can feel the life-affirming energy that connects us together, giving us greater strength to thrive during this continued unprecedented time. That Chaim, that life energy is potently present in our Board of Trustees. Elise, accepting the role of board chair in the midst of the pandemic truly demonstrates your 12 years of commitment and dedication to our residents, staff, and community. Your quiet strength and supportive style of leadership guided us with calm certainty, and I'm professionally and personally grateful for your partnership. You have been a gift to me and to our community. It's with deep gratitude, love, honor, and tremendous respect that I present to you tonight and have the privilege of introducing the chair of our Board of Trustees, Elise Schultz.
Thank you, Kimberly. I hereby call the CSP annual meeting to order. Our mission. Our mission is to provide residential and community-based care to our elders and adults with special needs, allowing them to live with comfort, independence, and dignity in a manner and an environment based on Jewish values. Pursuant to the CSP bylaws, anyone who has contributed to CSP in the past fiscal year is a member, and they are entitled to vote at this meeting. I now would like to count the members in attendance and declare a quorum. And I believe we are at 41, so we are at a quorum. Thank you. Next, I would like to introduce Rabbi Michael Kahana. He is a current member of the Board of Trustees, and he will offer the invocation. Rabbi.
Shalom and thank you. It's really an honor to be together with this dedicated group of people who care about those in our community who are the ones who have brought us to this point. And it is our role always to take care of them with dignity and with compassion. We are coming to the Torah portion this week of Naso. We are continuing in this journey in the desert, and in the midst of counting the individuals and giving sacrifices and all of the duties that are there, God stops and commands Moses to tell Aaron to bless the people. And the wording is so precise that he tells them to bless them and consistently using the word Omer, to tell them always. Rashi says that the word is repeated so that everyone should know that the blessing needs to be heard by everyone. Everybody is included. Everyone is a part of that blessing. So the work that is done by this incredible organization, the work of all of the hands that lift and help and guide, is so very important and needed. And to all of those who participate in the life of Cedar Sinai Park, we give this blessing. May God bless you and protect you. May God's light shine upon you and shine through you. May God's face always be turned towards you, and may God grant you great peace. Amen.
Thank you, Rabbi. I'd also like to welcome at this point Mark Blattner, who is the CEO of Jewish Federation of Oregon. So welcome, Mark. Thank you very much. An elder is a person who is still growing, still a learner, still with potential, and whose life continues to have within it promise for and connection to the future. Moreover, an elder is a person who deserves respect and honor. Barry Barkin. Yira, kavod, ahava, honor, respect, and love. I started my board chair term 2 years ago, and some say COVID is much like dog years. Every year is equal to 7. Some days it has truly seemed that way. When I came on as chair, we were starting to transition, to grow, and to rebuild. We had hope and promise and a darn good start. Then the pandemic hit, and we were put into a new reality, a new way of looking at the world and ourselves. But our CS community held strong. We held strong to our core beliefs, our values, and our mission. We hunkered down, and with the wise and strong leadership of our CEO, Kimberly, we were able to weather the PPE crisis, the pandemic, and a new world. While we slowed in many areas, we also grew in many others. We began a return of leadership dedicated and committed to growing our culture of community, our Brit, our covenant. We welcomed back 2 staff to our CSP family. And with the generosity of our many, many donors and a crack development team and committee, we have raised $1,406,521 as of May 30th. Yes, go ahead and applaud. We have remodeled 5 apartments at Roschnitzer Manor, and they are beautiful. New carpet in the manor was completed in December of 2021, and it too is beautiful. We have also completed the rebuilding of A elevator and are in the process of purchasing air scrubbers to be used during fire season as needed. And we are working to bring memory care back to our continuum of care, and we'll keep you informed of the progress. Our occupancy rate took a dramatic dip when the pandemic hit. In October of 2021, RSM occupancy was at 69%. As of June 1st, we are at 81%, with more prospects in the hopper. Our occupancy at our downtown affordable housing remains at 100%, with a 2 to 3 year waiting list. Kehila housing also remains at 100%. Our occupancy at Harold Schnitzer Center for Living and Robeson Jewish Health Center are at 75% as of June 1st. We are hopeful that as the nursing shortage wanes, we are able to fully staff, that occupancy here will also rise. We are continuing our focus on our culture of community, and this year engaged Holleran to conduct a satisfaction survey. We are evaluating the findings, and we will take the data received to make CSP an even better place to call home. With the leadership of Dr. Marvin Kaiser and Eddie Schuldman, a new committee has been formed. It is the culture of community. Stay tuned for the kickoff. Last year, we added 6 new board members, and this year we add 2. Each new member comes to us with specific skills and expertise, as well as a passion for our mission, our community. As I end my 12-year tenure at CSP, I feel very blessed to have been a part of this family. I couldn't have made it, especially these last 2 years, without all of you, my board, and especially without our CEO and my friend, Kimberly. So I leave you in the most capable hands of our incoming chair, Steve Rollison, and from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you all. I'd now like to introduce CSP's treasurer and trustee, David Hirsch, for our finance report. David.
Good evening. For the 10 months ending April 30th, CSP's operating loss was $3.2 million, which was on budget. Significant revenue shortfalls due to low occupancy were offset by significant cost savings due to an inability to fill all of our staffing vacancies. Non-operating income, however, fell behind budget due to losses in our investment portfolio, which resulted in a net loss of $2.2 million and a budget shortfall of $560,000. Cash and cash equivalents total $3.5 million, and our balance sheet is healthy. We planned for a challenging year as we anticipated a slow recovery from the pandemic, but still we experienced unforeseen headwinds. A slower recovery from COVID has kept the pace of move-ins at Rosenitzer Manor lower than we anticipated, although I'm pleased to report, as Lise mentioned, some better looking trends over the last few months. The national shortage of nursing staff has really restricted our ability to admit new residents and patients to our rehab and long-term care neighborhoods. And inflation, as I'm sure you're all aware, is having a significant impact on our expenses. With all of those headwinds, it's the financial support of our community that makes it possible to weather difficult years like this one. And I'd like to express my deep gratitude to all of our supporters and all of you here. As we look ahead, rebounding occupancy at Rosenitzer Manor gives us hope for improving financial performance. And the demand for skilled nursing care during rehabilitation from hospital stays is there as soon as we can increase our staffing to meet the demand. This is my last meeting as treasurer. I'm very happy to say that Conrad Myers, a past treasurer of CSP and a member of the finance committee for the last few years, has agreed to step into the role should the board approve the roster later. And I couldn't be leaving the finance committee in better hands. Lastly, I'd like to thank our CFO, Kathy Thompson, and her entire finance team for some really hard work this year and resilience under some incredibly challenging circumstances. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, David. Thank you for your service as our treasurer, especially during this very trying time. And thank you very much for staying on as a vice president on the executive committee. Thank you for your report and thank you for your service to CSP. It is now my great pleasure to introduce again CSP's CEO, Kimberly Fuson.
Thank you. Thank you, Elise. Gratitude, Rabbi Kahana, for your inspirational words and soul alignment. And truly special thanks to you, David, for your guidance as chair of our finance committee during these challenging times. We look forward to your continued leadership as a vice chair on our executive committee. I would also like to share that after growing up at Cedar Sinai Park for the past 10 years, Nathan Gregg, like his wife, Paulina, and yes, they met at Cedar Sinai Park, is leaving the nest for his next adventure. Nathan, thank you so much for your kindness and loving service to our community. We both know you and Paulina will continue to be part of our mishpucha wherever your life journeys take you. While we hoped for a definitive end to the pandemic by this time, we must acknowledge this past year has been a continuous roller coaster ride for each of us, for our families, for our Jewish community, for our general community, for our country, and for the world. And so it is for the residents and staff at Robeson Jewish Home. In the words of the spiritual teacher Hazur Maharaj Charan Singh, nothing always ever stays the same. At Cedar Sinai Park, we continue to define, then redefine and redefine yet again what it means to truly live and what it will take to flourish. We continue to heal and to grow on every level. Despite the pandemic, we've experienced many successes over this past year. The reopening of our adult day services, the return of leadership in building services, community life, and human resources. We've stabilized the senior leadership team with the recent hire of our resident experience and transitions director. And we are poised to initiate the return of memory care. Although we've experienced these successes, we know the tight labor market, increasing costs, and regulatory environment will make the upcoming year extraordinarily challenging. We still have so much to do. And we're up to the task. As our beloved Stan Eastern of blessed memory told us 30 years ago, raising money and maximizing every budget dollar has always been a difficult but important job. His words still ring true today. We deeply appreciate each of Cedar Sinai Park's Board of Trustees' commitment to excellence in care and services. Through your governance with heart, quality of life and quality of business practices walk hand in hand. Steve, I look forward to your leadership and partnering together to serve our community. From the most profound part of the hearts of our colleagues and residents, we are grateful for the tremendous generosity of our Jewish and Portland communities individually and collectively. We're only here because of those who came before us. Robeson Jewish Home stands on the shoulders of individuals like you who bring their ideas and dedication to our community and help us to set the bar higher each year. To Cedar Sinai Park colleagues, I'm so pleased to see so many of you in attendance tonight, and I truly see you. You're the lifeblood of Robeson Jewish Home. I love you all dearly. It truly takes Kulanu, all of us together. It's been a privilege to serve our residents, staff, and community once again this year, and I look forward to a rewarding future together. Shalom chaverim, lachit ra'ot.
Thank you, Kimberly. So a while ago, I was president of another board, and we had a very special award. And this award wasn't given every year, or it wasn't given during every president's term. It was only given on special years to a special person. And this president's award will be given by me this year. This has been a very special year in many respects, an anomaly, if you will. But the recipient is no anomaly. She is energetic, compassionate, loyal to CSP and our community. Over the years, she has held steadfast in her commitment to raising funds and morale. Her undying passion, leadership, and creativity has served CSP well. This year, I am so pleased to honor Michelle Grado with the CSP President's Award. Michelle, please come up. This plate reads, Cedar Sinai Park President's Award presented to Michelle Eastern Grado, June 9th, 2022, in honor of extraordinary fundraising efforts and success. Elise Brickner-Schultz and the Board of Trustees. Mazel tov, Michelle, and my most sincere gratitude. Now, if you can stand here.
As nominating chair, I am pleased to submit two great nominees to serve as trustees on the board of Cedar Sinai Park. First, we have Ali Garfinkel. Ali is currently working at PCC as a study abroad specialist. Ali specializes in coordinating, facilitating international programs all over the country. In addition, Ali has served as a trustee and vice president on the board of Congregation Beth Israel and volunteers with Stone Soup, PDX, PJ Library, Impact 2021, and Spot Smile Oregon. Our second nominee is Josh Erdy Woolheim. Josh comes to us with many years of healthcare experience. Josh is involved in physician recruitment, both internally and externally for Providence, Oregon. We feel very fortunate to have these two candidates.
Thank you, Michelle. Before we call for any vote, let us each consider how this decision upholds the values of our organization. Does this decision support our residents, our staff, and volunteers? Does it meet with our covenant, our Brit? and our current mission. I'd like to now call for a vote to elect the nominated trustees. Do I hear a motion? Michelle, thank you. A second?
Second.
Ivan, thank you for the second. All in favor? I raise a hand, put up a thumbs up. I see some thumbs up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Give just a second or here to, do I hear? Great, thank you for the thumbs up. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great, it unanimously passes. And I do want to welcome Allie and Josh to the board. I'd like now to acknowledge the following returning trustees: Rabbi Michael Kahana, Eileen Davidson, Michelle Eastern Grado, Michael Fivas, Marion Gans, Fran Gardner, our resident representative, Ivan Gold, Mark Goldring, Dr. Howard Greatzer, Jamie Simon Harper, David Hirsch, Dr. Marvin Kaiser, Michael Millender, Conrad Myers, Margot Fivas Pearman, Steve Allison, Jeff Reingold, Felicia Rosenthal, Eddie Schuldman, Mylan Schenker, Jennifer Griffith Weprin, and James Winkler. I'd now like to introduce Steve Allison as board chair-elect. Steve.
Elise, thank you very much. But before you go away, Kimberly, if you could join me at the podium, Elise. I've only known Elise, I've known her for the 4 years I've been on the board. I've never had the opportunity to meet someone with such a generous, kind heart, who is willing to express that to each of us as we do our best to serve. You've been a wonderful example of how to respect others, how to honor others through the little notes you send, the small gifts you provide to remind us of the connection you have with us. And so I thank you very much. I only hope I can follow your example in that relationship with members of the board.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kimberly?
Okay, and this gift is representative of the circle of life that you bring to Cedar Sinai Park. And we know that when you open it, and I think you'll initiate what it is right away. I'd like you to do that in front of us tonight so that we can help. It's on you. And the moment we've opened it.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I don't know where to hold this and to show. This is an amazingly stunning, beautiful silver and amethyst bracelet. Oh my gosh.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Wear it in good
Thank you.
health, and we love you. And thank you for everything.
Now, before I share a few remarks here this evening, I first of all want to publicly acknowledge and thank the board members, first of all, who graciously volunteer their time. We welcome the new board members, Josh and Allie. Special thanks to those who fill committee chairmanships. And a special thanks to Dr. Marvin Kaiser, who is taking on the chair-elect position. Thanks to Kimberly and her team. They are outstanding, and they have proven over this course of COVID that they can get things done. We're looking for more of that as we go into the future. To the staff, the folks who show up every day, provide the care, fix the food, clean the floors, who take time out to say, how you doing today? These are the folks that are the backbone of CSP, and we appreciate you and thank you. And a big thanks to the residents, their families. What a difficult and trying time this last 2 years have been. Living with weekly, sometimes daily changes. Thank you for your help, your support. Thank you for allowing us to come into your homes and be part of your lives. I've spent my career in healthcare, leading hospitals, working with physicians and practices, and I consider these spaces sacred spaces where major life events happen, life-changing decisions and transitions occur. At one moment, we share the joy of welcoming a new child, grandchild into our lives. And at the next moment, we mourn the passing of a loved one. I feel the same about CSP. Cedar Sinai Park, the Jewish home, Robeson, the Manor. I hear many terms used to refer to CSP. We've existed for 102 years. Amazing. What a great tribute that is to the Jewish community of Portland for its continued support. And what a gift CSP is to the community at large. As a faith-based, mission-driven, standalone, nonprofit organization, CSP is unique in today's world where most assisted living and nursing homes are owned and operated by for-profit corporate entities whose headquarters dictate what and how things are done. We, and I'm using the big we here, all of us, we are in charge of the destiny of CSP. There's great opportunity. At the same time, there are real risks that need to be navigated. COVID is not entirely in the rearview mirror yet, but we've learned to live with it. We'll continue to learn. We cannot be stuck in the wonderful events of the past, nor can we even be stuck in the future. We must look forward and move forward. So what does that mean? As we enter the next fiscal year, two priorities are very clear. One, take the necessary steps to bring about financial stability and sustainability to CSP. Now, there's many layers to this issue. Things aren't going to happen overnight, but we must find the staff our services. Then we need to retain the staff we hire. Turnover of staff must be reduced. Occupancy must improve. We need to continue to improve the data that we receive to help us make strategic, forward-looking decisions. And obviously, we need to continue to be diligent in managing expenses. Secondly, we need to build the culture of community that you've heard referenced many times this evening. What does that mean? It means we continue to build on the incredible foundation of 102 years as a Jewish organization. A culture of community isn't just the residents. It's the residents, it's the families, it's the staff, it's the members of the board, it's community members, all of whom are connected by the way we express the values of love, honor, and respect through our words and our deeds. So what does culture of community look like at CSP? At the front end of this meeting, you saw a video, and you were actually seeing some of that being played out. So as we look forward to continue to strengthen and grow that culture of community, it's built on the principles of my voice is heard, I am known, I belong, I feel secure. As a faith-based organization, we still have the reality that CSP is in a tough, highly regulated, competitive business. The demographics are changing, regulations are changing, reimbursement for services is changing, and the way people make decisions about when they need the services we offer is changing. So, what do we do to create a sustainable, competitive CSP short-term and longer term? We become a shining example of a culture of community. CSP becomes the preferred place for people to work, given many choices. CSP becomes the preferred place for people and families who need the services we offer. CSP becomes the light on the hill, if you will, the leader of delivering senior services unparalleled in the greater Portland area. We're guided by the fifth commandment to honor our parents, and also the commandment to love our neighbors. Both commandments, when put into action, are expressions of our love of Hashem. We have the management team and the staff to do this. We have the foundation of our Jewish legacy and the desire and will to do this. My commitment to you is this. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, we will put forth our best efforts as stewards of CSP to work closely with management team, staff, residents, families, to move the two key priorities forward in fiscal year 22-23. I would like to invite each of you to engage with us, to be part of the CSP culture of community as future board members, as residents, volunteers, donors, or friends of CSP. This means we welcome your voice and your involvement. Finally, let me just simply say, it's my honor and privilege to serve you as the board, as chair of the Board of Trustees next year. I ask for your patience and grace for the mistakes that will be made and for your continued support that will be needed to make CSP a leader of senior services and sustainable for many, many more years. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve. It was very inspiring. Makes me kind of want to stick around on the board a little longer. At this point, I would like to ask if there's any other new business to be brought by the membership. Anything do I hear? Okay. I'm going to call up Michelle again to read the names of the nominees.
The following is our slate of officers who will be voted on at the board meeting, which is to follow this meeting. Chair, Steve Rollison. Chair-elect, Marvin Kaiser. Treasurer, Conrad Myers. Secretary, Eileen Davidson. Vice Chair, Michael Phoebus. Vice Chair, Ivan Gold. Vice Chair, David Hirsch.
Thank you. This now concludes the annual members meeting. I want to thank each and every one of you for attending and for supporting us, CSP, our residents, our family, and our community. We are now going to continue with a board meeting on a Zoom call. Anybody is welcome to stay on to the Zoom, and that will be a regular meeting of the Board of Directors of CSP. For those of you who are going to sign off, I hope you have a very pleasant evening. And once again, from the bottom of my heart, I thank you all. Good night. Board members, please stay on.
have 30, we had 46, now we have 30 on, 30 participants.
Okay. All righty. I am hereby calling this Board of Trustees meeting to order, and we do have a quorum. I'm going to read again the nominated slate of officers that Michelle just read for us. Chair, Steve Rallison. Chair-elect, Dr. Marvin Kaiser. Treasurer, Conrad Myers. Secretary, Eileen Davidson. Vice Chair, Michael Thevis. Vice Chair, Ivan Gold. And Vice Chair, David Hirsch. Are there any other nominations from the floor to add to the slate? Seeing none, I would like to call for a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Thank you, Ivan, for the motion. Do I hear a second from anybody?
Second,
Thank you. I'm not sure who that was.
Eddie.
Thank you. Thank you, Eddie. I'd now like to call for the vote. All in favor of the slate of officers, say aye, put your little hand up, your yellow hand.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The slate is unanimously approved. Now I'm going to congratulate Steve for officially becoming the chair of the board of CSP. And I'm going to turn the meeting over to you as my last bit as board chair. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Elise.
Mazel tov and good luck.
Thank you. Thank you, Elise. Thank you all for your vote of confidence. I really wish that we were together. This is it's just a little weird trying to do this annual meeting via Zoom. Hopefully it'll be the last time we have to do this. I need to announce the executive committee. There are 3 positions on the executive committee which are not nominated to, but are appointed by the chair. So for information purposes, I want you to know that I've appointed Michelle Eastern, forgive me, Grado, forgive me, Michelle, Michael Millender and Jeff Reingold to be the other 3 members of the executive committee. Also, a warm welcome to our new board members. Josh, Ali, are either one of you out there? Josh, are you with us? Ali?
I am here. Hello.
Josh, would you take just a second to do a quick introduction of yourself? I put you on the spot, apologize, but it's good to see your face.
Likewise. Thank you, Steve. Yeah, happy to. I grew up in Portland. I have, for the last, in my professional career, I've been spent about 10 years working in nurse and CNA staffing, working with skilled nursing facilities all over Portland for the last 8 years. I have been working with the physician enterprise at Providence, recruiting providers, as well as consulting with other health systems around the country. On the personal side, my father, after some surgery, ended up having to have an extended stay at Robeson, where it was tough but wonderful experience. And I can definitely attest to the staff, really making it a community for us. So excited to be able to give back of my talents and time to repay some of that. So thank you for the opportunity and look forward to working with you all.
Thank you very much, Josh. Allie, are you with us out there? I think she had other commitments, so we will have the opportunity to hear a little bit more from her at the next board meeting. I want to take just a minute to let everyone know we're going to make some changes in the schedule of when board meetings are held. We've had this difficult situation where the Finance Committee is held on the 4th Thursday with the board meeting right after the Finance Committee, which really isn't working well for the Finance Committee to be able to digest the information and provide a good report to the board. Therefore, we're going to keep the Finance Committee where it is, but move the board meeting to the Thursday after the Finance Committee. I've also asked, at least to start things out, because of the size of the board, to move the board meetings to every other month for 2 hours. The Executive Committee will be meeting on a monthly basis. The Executive Committee will be meeting the Tuesday after the Finance Committee meeting. However, on the months where we do not have a board meeting, I've asked Marvin Kaiser and Eddie to put their heads together and to provide us with an opportunity as board members to have a firsthand experience and participate in engaging and building the culture of community. So they will be working with some of the key staff at CSP and providing an opportunity for us as board members to engage, hopefully to come on campus, to have the opportunity to talk with residents, to talk with staff, to have just to be able to feel what's really goes on here. We've been the last 2 years, we've been removed from that. It's been a total Zoom environment, and we very much need, I think, to get back in touch with the opportunities to know what goes on a day-to-day basis. Our board meetings, we're going to continue to use the consent agenda approach. We're going to work hard to refine that as much as we can so we keep or make room on the agenda, board agenda, for discussion that is really relevant to that which as board members we need to pay attention to. The strategic issues that we're facing. That could be issues about the issues of recruitment, issues of retention, issues of the new branding approach that CSP is going to take, some of the strategic initiatives that need to be discussed. So I look to be able to have, I look to you, all of members of the board, to be prepared when we come to board meetings, because the board meetings are not going to be simply presentations from staff or review of reports. We can read that. We need to have your experience and expertise. I'm saying big we here, Kimberly and team, and all of us on the board, to have your input. And so we're going to try that out. We're going to see how it goes. But I guess what I'm saying is I'm looking at setting a higher expectation for those of us on the board to be engaged and come prepared to discuss, to ask questions, to add your perspective that hopefully will help us, again, now the big us, CSP, become that shining light on the hill. Lastly, I just wanted to say I'll be reaching out to each of you to schedule a time. I would appreciate if I could get about an hour of your time. I'd like to meet one-on-one with you and really review like 3 key questions. It's not going to be just questions, but chance to get to know each one of you and your story. But I'd like to gain a better understanding of what is it that inspired you to join the board of CSP. I very much want to learn about your gift, your the experience, that which you have that you can share with us on the board. And thirdly, I want you to think about, and we'll talk about, what leadership positions on the board can you prepare yourself for to step into. We need to be attentive to succession planning, to have the members of the board at a level where they can step into key chairmanships and key places on the executive committee and future chairmen of the board. So with that, I again extend my thanks for your support and look forward to a tremendous year. It's going to be a tough year. It's just because of the way things are all lining up, be it budget, be it recruitment. And we're not the only one in that box, but I think we've got resources and the kind of leadership team and the folks that are committed and a mission and a legacy that we can move ahead very successfully as we go into the future. And so with that, I say thank you, and I will call this meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.